She was a great little kid. It was, you know, it was a pivotal point in my life. I was 32 when she was born, and it was just a wonderful time for my wife and I.
Growing up, I think it was probably different than it was for most kids because I grew up in Alaska.
We were in the middle of a couple hundred acres of timbered area on a bluff above the Anchor River on the Kenai Peninsula.
And we were probably about 16 and 20 miles away from any significant towns.
Allison was 3.5 years older than her younger sister, and they were real close.
I mean, my sister and I especially, we didn't have a ton of friends to play with all the time. So, I mean, we had our animals. We had a dog, Pip, and, you know, chickens and goats.
They were always building forts and rambling around out in the yard and swinging on fishing buoys and, you know, ice skating and mud puddles and just doing kid stuff. It was a great time for them and for us.
There's pictures of us with goats in the brand new kitchen of our new house, baby goats, bottle feeding them. And there's a perfectly good garage downstairs, you know.
Sledding, and we had a little beat up little kid snow machine. They were always outside. They were on the horses. They were saddling up the dog.
My dad always wanted a horse, and so he bought one.
I bought her as a 2-year-old, and I went right down to the feed store and bought a $200 saddle and came right home. And
I was probably about 6 months old, and he bought Baleen from the head of the bay. And
I set her up on there for the first time, and my wife took a picture, and that was the fateful day.
And then I had my pony Spot. And that was the horse that I went along on these pack trips. And a pack trip is like, my dad would go out hunting. Hunting's a big part of I mean, we grew up eating fish and moose every year. I mean, that was how we got our meat every year. And it was really fun. I mean, it was a really great bonding experience. My dad and I have always been pretty close. And then we did 4-H, and I was rodeo queen, Happy Valley rodeo queen at 13 years old. You know, I played sports all the rest of the year. Alaska's really indoor sports kind of place. And then all summer long, I mean, that was all we did. We were out in the middle of nowhere, just rode horses all day long, kind of. I don't remember a time when I wasn't on a horse. Both of my parents are very family-oriented, very hardworking, very loving and supportive. I mean, my parents never missed a basketball game, a life event. I mean, still don't. I mean, they're the only reason that I've been able to do any of the things that I wanted to do.
High energy, hugest heart in the world.
She was always very precocious and out front.
Super nice, super smart.
Very true, very real.
I don't know, it's just Allison.
My name is Allison Trimble, and I'm a horse trainer.
Allison is incredibly talented, has helped me immensely with my horse and my horsemanship. And she's different in the sense that she's got horses that people can ride to feel with the maneuvers and are supposed to feel like on a broke horse. And then when you're working with your own horse, it translates into something, I know what that's supposed to feel like now.
She'd stop, got off of her horse, had someone else get on her horse and said, now draw back, turn her around, bring her around, see what that feels like? Oh yeah, I didn't know. Back on their horse, much more possible for them to understand in that context.
I had to sort a lot of stuff out on my own. And I think even more importantly, because I was a non-professional growing up, I owned my own horses, so I have a totally different view of what it means to be sitting on the horse you trained and not really have done a very good job, or be frustrated, or be all those things. I mean, that's very real to me. I mean, I have lived that, I've walked in those shoes, and there's a really big variety of people who come to these kind of clinics. And for this, I think I love it because it's an opportunity to kind of introduce some horsemanship things to people that they haven't considered before, because it becomes really apparent that they can't get from here to there or accomplish the things they want to. And it gives me a platform or an opening to start talking about some of those things, and I think that that's extremely valuable. I mean, kind of the basis of my whole program is that you can train and do these complex maneuvers, but there's still very simple basic principles that you're building on. So I'm encouraging people to start and have an understanding of horse behavior and training philosophy that's growable, that you can build upon, that is a really, really strong foundation, so you can kind of go as far as your horse is able to go and you're able to go, and that's kind of, to some degree, infinite. And I also am encouraging people who do have more of a performance-based program or who their horses are more that way, to not forget that the horse does have some intrinsic value, and to be able to build a relationship with your horse.
I think that Allison is an inspiration to a lot of people because she is very honest and she makes mistakes and she admits it. So she never gives the air that she's infallible and that she's always done it correctly. She's the first one to tell you, don't do that with your horse because this is why, this is what will happen because I've done it.
A lot of the horse training and a lot of Allison's program can come over into life things, life experiences, like the way you train horses. It helps you with your life, in life and with people. And I really do believe in Allison's program for that reason, because it's not just horse training.
I really care about the truth of a situation. Is my horse really broke? Not how broke does my horse look, or am I really getting this, or is someone really grasping this concept? Not, did we get by and I say, atta girl today, and you give me my check, and and we go on about our merry way. I want people to actually improve, and I want to actually improve. I want to be better horsewoman and better friend, better daughter, better everything,
That she is very genuine. I think she's got a big heart. I think she loves animals beyond measure. I think she really truly cares about people. I think she cares deeply about how successful people are with their horses.
I don't think in Allison's vocabulary the words can't, that doesn't exist to her. If somebody says something can't be done, she will do it, and she will do it well.
Really what horses and animals mean in our lives is probably more significant than any trophy. It's a really special situation that you can have a relationship like that with an animal that can then go out and empower you in the rest of your life. And I think it's not so much that I'm necessarily an inspiration. I think it's more that they're just allowed to see what they can do, and it's a vehicle for them to get there. And so it helps them believe it's more possible because they see me out and doing it, and they know that I have my shortcomings and my faults, and I can still go out and try. And I think that's there's been many women who've been very inspiring to me that way, and I'm happy that I can help other people really just see what they're capable of doing, more than that it's something necessarily that I'm doing.